Radhe Radhe Govind Govind Radhe 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 Govind Govind Radhe 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 Govind Govind Radhe 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 Govind Govind Radhe.
Radhe Jaya Jaya Madhava Jai Jai 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 Bhuratharuni Mandal Parikrama Mandal Magiche Radhe Jaya Jaya Madhava Jai Jai 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 Adurati Ardana Peshe Vishnu Vrindaveti Meshe Adurati Ardana Peshe Vishnu Vrindaveti Meshe Adurati Ardana Peshe Vishnu Vrindaveti Jaya Jaya Madhava Radhe Jaya Jaya Madhava Radhe Jaya Jaya Madhava Radhe Jaya Jaya Madhava Adhu Mande Navashache Leke Amrita Saki Guna Ramita Vishake Samadhani Navashache Leke Lalita Saki Guna Ramita Vishake Adhu Mande Navashache Leke Amrita Saki Guna Ramita Vishake Samadhani Navashache Leke Lalita Saki Guna Ramita Vishake Radhe Jaya Jaya Madhava Radhe Jaya Jaya Madhava Radhe Jaya Jaya Madhava Radhe Jaya Jaya Madhava Guru Mai Karuna Bharte Sanata Sanatana Varita Jayate Guru Mai Karuna Bharte Sanata Sanatana Varita Jayate Guru Mai Karuna Bharte Sanata Sanatana Varita Jayate Mandal Parikrama
All glories to Shri Guru and Gauranga Ki Govardhan Ki Jai. Om Gananta Vrindasha Gananjana Shlakaya Chakshuru Meditam Yena Tasmai Shirve Namaha. We describe that Giriraj is in the shape of a peacock, and the head of the peacock is Radhakunda and Shamakunda, the two eyes actually. And at the tail of the peacock, we have two other kunds. Does anyone remember what the kunds were? Apsarakund and what? Navalkund, which are also considered like Radhakunda. Don't turn it on, it's too loud for me. Which are also considered like Radhakunda and Shamakunda of the tail. We're not going to do the Radhakunda Parikrama right now. That's a completely different show that we'll probably do tomorrow. But this is just the entrance to Radhakunda. And at this entrance to Radhakunda, you'll find a beautiful temple. It's in the Orissa style. It's called the Mahaprabhu Chaitanya Temple. And there's a big deity there. There's about, let's say, 2.5 meters high.
1 hour and a half.
Is that 1 hour and a half? How do we get that? Did they give you a bribe? Oh, did they give you a bribe or something? Anything can be accomplished with money. Oh, okay, so that's good. No, that's good. An hour and a half is a nice present. And so tomorrow we start at 10:30 to 11:30.
Yes, and 15 minutes more.
10:30, 11:30. And 15 minutes more as a bonus. It's a good organization. Okay, thank you. Okay, so this is called the Mahaprabhu Chaitanya Temple. And we're not going to go to the temple, but the deity is approximately 7 feet tall, like 2 meters, a little over 2 meters tall. The majority of the temple was a friend of mine. He passed away when he was 116 years old. And he was doing service for the deities the whole time. What was his secret for living long? He ate very little. You want to live longer? You eat little. If you want to die sooner, you eat a lot. That's up to all of you.
To ovisi o svima vama.
I can tell you how to live longer, I'll give you a diet, but none of you will
Reći kako
follow.
da živite duže i daću vam način prehrane, ali nećete ga slijediti.
And as we enter the Radhakunda area, there's this very nice kund called Malya Hari Kund.
koja se zove Malya Hari Kunda.
And at this kund,
I na toj kundi
the famous pearl pastime took place.
desila se slavna zabava sa biserima.
And this pearl pastime is told by Radhakunda Goswami
Nju je ispričao Radhakunda Das Goswami
in the Mukta Charita.
u Vimukti Chariti.
And the story is as follows.
Priča slijedi.
Once upon a time,
Jedno,
Krishna had the desire
Krishna je imao želju
to put
da
pearls on
stavi
his
bisere
cows.
na svoje krave.
So he went to the gopis
I
and
otišao je do
said,
Gopija i rekao,
can we borrow some
možemo li
pearls from you?
posuditi neke vaše bisere?
And the gopis said, that's
I Gopije
ridiculous.
su rekle, to je smiješno.
You should not put pearls on
Ne
cows.
trebaš krave kititi biserima.
And so Krishna said, all right, if you
Krishna
won't give me any,
ako vi nećete meni da date nešto bisera,
I'm going to grow my own
ja ću
pearls.
uzgojiti vlastite bisere.
And so Krishna went to Mother Yashoda
Majke Jašode
and said, why don't you lend me some of your
i
pearls?
rekao je, molim te daj mi nešto svojih
And Mother Yashoda
bisera.
said,
Majka Jašoda je rekla,
why?
zašto?
And Krishna said,
Krishna je odgovorio
so I'm going to plant them in the ground
da bi ih
and grow pearl
posadio
trees.
tlo i uzgojio biljke od bisera.
And she said,
I ona je rekla,
my dear Krishna,
moj dragi Krishna,
pearls come
biseri
from what?
dolaze iz
Shell clams, like clams.
školjki.
Yeah, whatever you call that in Serbian. Anyway, and there's oysters actually, it's a type of clam.
I to su
And it comes from the ocean.
koje se zovu ostrige i one dolaze iz okeana.
But Krishna is very good
Krishna je jako dobar
arguer. He can be able to convince anyone of anything.
On je u stanju da ubijedi bilo koga u bilo šta.
So she finally gave her
I
pearls.
konačno je dala moje svoje bisere.
Krishna planted them in the ground.
Krishna ih je posadio u tlo.
And he began to water these
I počeo je da
pearls
zaljeva te bisere
with milk products.
sa mliječnim proizvodima.
Like yogurt and ghee, everything like that. And the gopis, they were laughing. They were
Gopije su se
thinking,
smijale i smijale.
This is
Mislili
stupid.
su, ovo je glupo.
you know, nothing's going to grow from pearls.
Ništa neće izrasti iz tih bisera.
So eventually these creepers came out of the pearls.
Te puzavice su iznikle iz bisera.
And there were multicolored pearls coming from the creepers, like red, green, blue, yellow, all sorts of different
žuti,
colors.
zeleni, plavi, iz tih biljaka.
And Krishna took those
I
pearls
Krishna je uzeo to biserje,
and he decorated not only the cows and himself,
krasio je njime ne samo krave i
but
sebe,
also, as you see,
već
the
također kao
monkeys.
što vidite i majmune.
All the animals in Vrindavan had
Sve
pearls.
životinje Vrindavana imala su bisere.
And the gopis,
I gopije
they were thinking, we're going to
su
do better than
razmišljale, mi
Krishna.
ćemo uraditi bolje od Krišne.
We're going to plant our
Mi
pearls
ćemo
and our mother's
da
pearls,
posadimo naše
and we're going
bisere
to grow
i
pearls too.
bisere naših majki i mi ćemo isto da uzgojimo nove
So
bisere.
they planted their pearls in
I
the
one su
ground.
posadile svoje bisere u tlo.
And the only thing that grew after they
Jedina
watered the
stvar
pearls
koja je
with milk
izrasla nakon
products
zalijevanja sa
was
mliječnim
thorn
proizvodima su
trees.
bili trnovite biljke.
And so Krishna and the cowherd boys, they were
I
laughing at
Krišna
them.
dječaci pastir su im se smijali.
And they were very worried because they
I
had
oni su
taken
bili
all the
jako
pearls from their
zabrinuti
mother
zato što
too.
su uzele
So they were in great
sve
anxiety.
biserje od svojih majki. Tako da
So
su
then they
veliko
finally asked
slobodu i
Krishna
konačno su upitale Krišnu.
For pearls. And Krishna said, I'm not going to give you any pearls
I Krišna rekao, neću vam dati nikakve bisere.
because you wouldn't give me your
Zato što
pearls.
mi niste htjeli dati svoje.
And so they kept begging and begging and begging.
Nastavljale su ga preklinjati,
And they were going to offer gold and so many things for the
i htjeli
pearls.
su da ponude
But
zlato i
Krishna
sve
kept
takve
refusing.
stvari za bisere, ali Krišna je nastavljao da ih odbija.
Finally, Krishna agreed and he gave them each
Se složio i svakom je dao
boxes of pearls with their name on it, especially he gave it to Radharani.
bisera sa njihovim imenom na toj kutiji, posebno je tako dao Radharani.
So this pastime took place in the Malya Hari Kund area,
U području Malya Hari Kunde,
which is right on the border
koja je
of
baš na
Radhakunda.
granici Radhakunda.
And also on the border of
Također
Radhakunda,
na granici Radhakunda
there is a famous kund
nalazi
called
se poznata
Siva
kuda po
Kori.
imenu Siva Kori.
What happened here
Ono što se ovdje desilo,
that there was a jackal, I think you know
jeste
what
da
a
je bio
jackal
jedan
is.
šakal. Znači što
Jackal
je
is like a
šakal?
wild dog.
To vam je kao divlji pas.
And this jackal was
I taj
being
šakal,
tormented
njega su mučili
by little boys.
mali dječaci.
They even set a fire to the
Čak
cave in which the jackal was in.
zapalili pećinu u kojoj se nalazio šakal.
And so what happened is that Srimati Radharani and her associates came and they saved the jackal.
Su došli i rekli šakalu.
The jackal left its body and took on a spiritual body and went back to
Spasile
Godhead.
su šakala i on je napustio svoje tijelo i otišao natrag u duhovni svijet.
So anyone who dies
Stoga bilo ko da umre
in the holy dham,
u svetoj dami,
Govardhan, Vraja Mandal, goes back to home, back to Godhead.
vraća se natrag kući Bogu.
Of course,
Naravno,
anyone who leaves their body thinking of Krishna also goes back to Godhead. So you don't have to all rush there and wait to die.
Krishna, stoga ne morate si tamo požuriti.
If you're serving Krishna, thinking of Krishna, living in a holy place such as one of Srila Prabhupada's temples, you can go
na
back to
svetom mjestu
Krishna.
kao što je jedan od Srila Prabhupadovih hramova, možete se vratiti Krishna.
So this is leaving the Radhakunda
Evo
area.
ovdje napuštamo Radhakund.
And right close to Radhakund, like up the road towards Vrindavan, and
Uz
you go,
put prema Vrindavanu.
you know where the bus, everyone knows where the bus stand is, the
Gdje je
Radhakund bus stand.
autobuska stanica?
So you go up, I think it's about a kilometer up.
Odete malo gore, oko je kilometar jedan.
Radharani's grandmother's house is there.
Tamo se nalazi kuća od
And this
bake od
place is called
Radharani.
Mukarai,
I to se zove Mukari.
which is the name of Mukara, who was
To je
Radharani's
ime
grandmother.
Mukare, koja je bila Radharanina baka.
Okay. Then leaving completely that Radhakund area
I tu napuštamo potpuno područje Radhakunda.
to Kushima Sarovara. You see, this is
Idemo
not
do
here.
Kusuma Sarovara.
Kushima Sarovara, and there's a Uddhava
Tu je
temple.
hram Udave.
This is the path right here. you
Ovo je
see
put,
here.
vidite ga.
And there's a Shofan is where this famous temple of Vana Bihari is, where Krishna becomes the hairdresser of Radharani, which we'll
Hram
see.
Vana Bihari, tamo Krishna počinje da češlja
And
kosu Radharani.
this is Narada
I ovo
Kund,
je Narada Kund.
where Narada Muni instructed Kayadu, the mother of
Muni
Prahlad
dao
Maharaj,
uputstvo
Krishna
Kayadu,
consciousness.
majci Prahlada Maharaja u svijesti
And
Krishna.
then proceeding up, we're going to see all these places. I'm just giving you
Vidjet
an
ćemo sad da
overview.
vam sad dajem pregled.
Proceeding up the path,
I idemo dalje uz put.
you'll get a chance to see the Ratna Singhasan, the jewel throne of Radha and Krishna,
Ratna Simhasan,
Ratna Kund,
zatim Ratna Kund,
Rasa Stali,
Rasa Stali.
and you'll see the place where Radharani was kidnapped by the Shankachuda demon.
Bila kidnapirana od strane demona Shankachude.
Okay, let's proceed. This, of course, is Kushima Sarovara,
Ovo je naravno Kusuma Sarovara.
where many pastimes of Krishna and the gopis
Se
occur.
desile
Some of the
mnoge zabave
decorations here.
Krishna i Gopija.
One particular pastime, which
Jedno posebno
perhaps is the
zabavu,
most famous,
koja je možda najpoznatija,
was when
je bila
the gopis were picking
kada su
flowers.
Gopije brale cvijeće.
Don't worry, these are not gopis.
Ne brinite, ovo nisu Gopije.
Especially this is not a gopi.
Posebno ovo nije Gopija.
That's not what I'm showing. Not a cowboy either. It's an old
Nije ni dječak
sannyasi.
pastir, to je stari sanjasi.
So the gopis were picking.
Gopije su brale
The gopis
cvijeće.
were picking flowers, and Krishna, to help Radharani pick flowers, was hiding in the tree
Krishna se krio
and holding the
prošao
branch down,
i on je spuštao granu
so Radharani could reach the
kako bi
flowers.
Radharani mogla dohvatiti cvijeće.
So then Krishna jumped
I
from
onda
the
je
tree,
Krishna skočio sa drveta
and Radharani
i
flew up in
Radharani
the
je
air.
poletjela u zrak.
And Krishna said, "I'll catch
Krishna je
you."
rekao, ja ću te uhvatiti.
And of course, Radharani was
I
pretty
naravno,
upset
Radharani je
with
bila
Krishna's
poprilično
trick,
uznemirena.
but eventually she allowed herself to be caught by
Zapravo je
Krishna.
dozvolila da je Krishna uhvati.
Here's another picture.
Evo još jedne slike te zabave.
This is an older picture. It's
Ovo
quite a
je
nice
starija
picture.
slika, jako lijepa.
Nice to meditate on.
Jako lijepo je o tome meditirati.
How Krishna likes to put Radharani in anxiety
Voli da stavlja
to help with the
Radharani
pastimes.
u tjeskobu kako bi pomogao u zabavama.
And all the residents of Vrindavan
Svi stanovnici Vrindavana
assist with Radha and Krishna
pomažu
pastimes.
u Radha Krishna zabavama.
Like we're chanting every morning, Nikunja Yuno Radhikele
mantramo
Siddhya.
svako jutro Nikunja Juno Radhikele Siddhya.
That the spiritual master is making so many tasteful arrangements for the
Radi toliko
pastimes of Radha and
ukusnih
Krishna.
aranžmana za zabave Rade i Krišne.
So every living entity is acting like that in Goloka Vrindavan.
Zapravo tako u Goloka Vrindavana.
Even when they question what service does a snake do in Goloka
Ispituju, kada
Vrindavan?
pitaju kakvu službu radi zmija u Goloka Vrindavana.
The snake service is to make Radharani
Zmijska služba
scared,
jeste da
so she'll
prepadne
grab Krishna.
Radharani tako da bi ona zgrabila Krišnu.
Represent the snake comes
Shvatate,
out.
zmija izađe, ona se
Of course,
prepadne,
that's not a good imitation, but
naravno to
anyway,
nije dobra imitacija.
it's the best I can do. And then she grabs
I
Krishna
onda
and
ona
Krishna's
zgrabi
very happy.
Krišnu i Krišna je jako sretna.
So in the pastimes of Radha and Krishna,
Stoga
there are
u zabavama Rade Krišne
many of the indirect rasas being
mnogih
manifest,
posrednih rasa se pokazuju,
such as ghastliness, fear,
kao što su strah,
humor,
humor,
and there's anger, sometimes mana.
nekada je tu i gnjev, mana.
As we'll see later on in the next few days, there's even this place called Manasarovara,
Čak postoji jedno mjesto koje se zove Manasarovara,
which is a
koje
kund
je kunda,
where Radharani would go when she was really
gdje
angry
bi
at
Radharani
Krishna.
otišla kada je zaista bila ljuta na Krišnu.
And Krishna would come
I Krishna bi
crawling
otišao
and
od
touch her
one,
below his feet to beg forgiveness.
puzeći da dotakne njena lotosova stopala da je preklinje za oproštanje.
Next to Kusuma Sarovara,
Pored Kusuma Sarovara
there's a temple run by some ISKCON devotees.
hram koji vode neki iskon bakte.
I think there's Kulendri. If you happen to ever go there, please stop by this
Kada
temple.
odete, molim vas otičite do ovog hrama.
This is the temple of Vrindavan, where Radharani
Rada Bana Bihari, gdje
is
Radharani
having her hair combed by Krishna.
njenu kosu češlja Krišna.
And you see here,
I vidite ovdje,
this is Krishna.
ovo je Krišna.
You can tell because Krishna plays a flute.
Možete to prepoznati jer Krišna
And that's Radharani,
i ovo je
Šila.
Radharani, Šila.
And Radharani, you can't see exactly, but she's holding a mirror.
Vidite, ali ona drži ogledalo.
And holding the mirror, she's not actually
Držeći
looking at
ogledalo
her
ne
hair.
gleda u svoju kosu.
And normally when you ladies go to a hairdresser, you look at your hair, you don't look at the
I gledate
hairdresser.
svoju kosu, kako izgleda kosa, zar ne?
I don't know.
Mislim, ja ne znam.
I would assume you don't.
Pretpostavljam da
You're not interested in the hairdresser, you're
niste
interested in the hair,
zainteresirani za
right?
frizera, već za kosu.
But
Ali Radharani
Radharani is interested in the
je
hairdresser who
zainteresirana
happens
za
to be
frizera.
Krishna. So she's just looking at Krishna with
Tako da
love.
ona samo gleda u svom ogledalu Krišnu.
Usually we celebrate Govardhan
Obično
Puja
slavimo Govardhan Puđu
at this temple.
u ovom hramu.
So we have very nice kirtans, classes, and prasad distribution at
Tamo imaju
the
jako lijepe
Radhakunda
kirtane
temple.
i podjelu prasadama.
This is an idea of what Govardhan Puja looks like at
Evo,
the temple.
da vidite kako izgleda Govardhan Puđa u hramu.
All the different
Sve
preparations.
različita jela.
And eventually this temple is going to be given to ISKCON.
Na posljedku taj hram će biti predat Iskonu.
It's been in the hands of a family, a Raj family, for many, many years. But the devotee who is taking care of Kalindri, who's taking care of this family, the older lady in the family, she's called Ma,
za božanstva,
is
odnosno za
basically
stariju
should probably
ženu
get possession of the temple when
porodici.
the family passes away. So here's that
Njena imovina
Krishna
prelazi
as the
u
hairdresser for
Iskon,
Srimati
kao ona
Radharani.
uzme tijelo. Evo kako Krišna češlja Srimati Radharani.
And next is another temple run by an ISKCON devotee.
Tu je još jedan hram kojeg vodi Iskonom Fakta.
Like I mentioned yesterday, Uddhava is residing in the grass in that area, in the creepers in this area.
Kao trava, puzavice tog područja.
Because this Uddhava temple is directly opposite
direktno nasuprot
the Uddhava Kund temple which I showed you
Udavakunda,
yesterday.
odnosno hrama na Udavu Kundu koji sam ju vam jučer pokazao.
And here is the devotee.
Tu je
He's from Canada.
On je iz Kanade.
Jamuna Jivana, yes, that's his name. And he runs the
Jamuna
temple.
Jivana. I on vodi hram.
He's been there for many years. He lives in
Tamo
the
mnogo
temple
godina.
and he's alone. He very austere devotee.
I vrlo je
In the summer, in the
prema
winter.
sebi strog. Živi sam ljeti, zimu.
And then as we go back on the
I onda
path to the
kako
left,
skraćamo na put,
there's Narada
skrećemo
Kund.
lijevo, nalazi se Radhakunda.
Narada Muni resides there.
Narada Muni tu prebiva.
And Narada Muni is generally not allowed to stay in one place because he's been cursed by Daksha. Because he encouraged Daksha's sons to take sannyas. Daksha first had 10,000 sons. That's a lot of sons. Imagine if they all had to get iPads and video games. It's a pretty big house. So then Narada Muni preached to them as they were executing austerities. And he said to them, you know who your real father is basically? It's Krishna. So don't pay attention to this material father. And so the sons took sannyas. And then Narada Muni did the same thing with another group of sons, just only 1,000 this time. And then Daksha decided after that point only to have daughters. Because Narada Muni didn't want a bunch of sannyasini running around. Or they say nowadays, Brahma Kumaris. Yeah. Prabhupada is not Prabhupada. So anyway, so Narada Muni got cursed by Daksha that he couldn't remain in one place for very long. So how is Narada Muni able to reside here in Radhakunda? Because Radhakunda is not part of the material world. This is the deity of Narada Muni in Radhakunda. So one time Narada Muni wanted to see the rasa dance of Krishna. So he went to Krishna's rasa dance, but the rasa dance was being guarded by Lord Shiva, Gopishvara Mahadev. And Lord Shiva said, you're not allowed to come in here. We only allow ladies here. So Narada Muni took a bath in the corner of Kushuma Sarovara, and then he became Naradi, a female gopi. Of course, but female Narada Muni. So he went into the rasa dance. But Krishna saw him. And Krishna said, hey, Narada Muni, what are you doing here? Because Krishna could tell, you know, who's sneaking in. And Krishna said, instead of hanging around the rasa dance, you should be writing some books, the Narada Pancharatra and the Narada Bhakti Sutra. So Narada Muni wrote these books right at Radhakunda. In addition, he took care of Prahlad Maharaj, actually Tayadu, when Prahlad Maharaj was in the womb. Then next we go to the interior portion of Govardhan. Govardhan is right below the ground at this point, just starting to come out. So this is called the Radhakunda Shankutir area. Radhakunda means the jewel throne of Radha and Krishna. And as I said, Giri is just coming out of the ground at this particular point. It's very, very beautiful to see Giri. You go right up to Giri. And what happens here is that this demon named Shankachuda kidnapped Radharani. Of course, he couldn't kidnap Radharani. He kidnapped an expansion of Radharani. Just like Ravana could not kidnap Sita Devi. He kidnapped Maya Sita. Because had Shankachuda actually touched Radharani, he would have died like that. So, did you finish translating that, or he would have died? Had Shankachuda touched him, he would have died. So, Shankachuda was an associate of Kubera. And he had gotten this jewel from Kubera that he wore on his head in the shape of a conch shell.
na svom čelu u obliku školjke.
So when Krishna killed
Kada je Krishna
Shankachura,
ubio Šankačuru,
he took the jewel,
uzeo je dragulj,
gave it to
dao
Balaram.
Balaramu.
And Balaram eventually
Balaram je na posljedku
gave it to Srimati
dao
Radharani.
Šrimati Radharani.
And that jewel later on
Dragulj je
became
kasnije
the
postao
Shimantaka jewel.
Sjamantaka dragulj.
But that's a whole other
Ali
story.
to je sasvim druga priča. Nemamo sad vremena za njom.
And there is a footprint. Some people say it's a footprint of Balaram, other people say it's a footprint of Krishna.
Da je otisak Krišne, njegovog stopala.
This is the place of
Ovo je
the
mjesto
jewel throne of Radha and Krishna.
gdje je bio draguljski, odnosno prijestolje dragulja Rada Krišne.
The beautiful painting on the
I
rock
prekrasna
right
slika
there
upravo
of Radha
tu,
and Krishna
Rada Krišne,
embracing each other.
kako se uzagrljaju.
And of course many dances, rasa dances were held here.
Mnogi rasa plesovi su tu održani.
There's Radharani on the jewel throne.
Radharani na prijestolju od dragulja.
And many intimate pastimes occurred in
Mnogo
this
intimnih zabava
Shamkutir
se
Ratnasimhasana
desilo
area.
ovdje u ovom Šankutir Ratna Simhasana
Nearby the Gvalpukur,
u blizini je Gvalpukur,
where the cowherd boys would
gdje su
take their lunch.
dječaci pastiri običavali da ručaju.
There's one of the cowherd boys.
Evo jedan od dječaka pastira.
His name is Mayapur
Zove se
Chandra.
Mayapur Chandra.
And also another thing happened here
Još jedna stvar se desila
was
ovdje.
that Madhu Mangal
Madhu Mangal
had performed Surya Puja at Surya
je
Kund.
radio Surya Puja na Surya Kundu.
And as a reward, he had gotten many
Dobio
ladus.
puno ladua.
And when he got many
Kako
ladus,
je dobio puno ladua,
Balaram came to him
Balaram je
and
prišao.
said, "What do you have in that bag?
Šta imaš u toj torbi?
Let me see."
Da vidim ja.
So Balaram forcibly opened the bag and distributed all the ladus to the other cowherd boys.
Drugim dječacima pastirima.
And then Madhu Mangal got very angry, pulled out his Brahman thread,
Izvukao svoj
was getting ready to
konac,
curse all the
pripremio se
cowherd
da
boys.
prokune
And
sve
Krishna
dječake
just said,
pastire
"No, no,
i Krishna
don't do
sam
that.
rekao, ne, nemoj to
I'll give you some more
Ja ću ti
ladus."
dati još ladua.
So Madhu Mangal was famous for liking ladus.
Poznat po tome što voli ladue.
And he was
I
a little heavy as a result.
kao rezultat
In other
toga
words,
bio
heavy
malo
means
teži,
a little
znate,
fat.
malo debljiji.
So there's this very interesting story. One time, the cowherd boys, they were stealing some butter from one of the gopis' houses.
Puter iz kuće jednog gopija.
And they were discovered, and they all went out through the window.
Su istrčali kroz prozor.
And going out through the window, everyone was able to fit except for Madhu Mangal.
Prođu osim Madhu Mangala.
Because the only part of his body that
Jedini dio
couldn't
tijela,
fit out the window was the rear end of his
proći
body.
kroz prozor je bio stražnji dio njegovog tijela.
So the gopis, they actually hit the rear end with a stick.
Tukle taj stražnji dio Madhu Mangala sa štapovima.
And so Krishna came to the gopis later on and said, "You have made a great offense against the Brahman."
Uvredu protiv Brahmane.
And because of
I
that,
zbog toga
you must go and ask for forgiveness.
otići i tražiti oprost.
So they went to Madhu Mangal and asked for forgiveness, and Madhu Mangal said, "The only way I'll forgive you is if you give me millions of ladus."
Oprostiti jeste ako mi date milijone ladua.
So they kept feeding Madhu Mangal ladus. And by the time they got to about the 1,000,
Ladua, ali dok je došao do
he was so
1000,
intoxicated with
Ladua bio
ladus,
toliko intoksiciran da ih je stalno
and he
blagoslovio
blessed them to be able to marry Krishna.
i blagoslovio ih je da se udaju za Krišnu.
Does anyone know who Madhu Mangal's father was?
Da li ko zna ko je bio otac Madhu Mangala?
Who? Huh? Who knows who Madhu Mangal's father
Ko
was?
zna kako se zvao otac?
Sandipani Muni.
Sandipani Muni.
And who was his
I ko je
grandmother?
bila njegova baka? Purnamasi.
Purnamasi. It's nice, isn't it?
To je lijepo, zar ne?
So he was also there with Krishna
On je
when Krishna
također bio
went.
tamo sa Krišnom
to
kada je
Gurukula.
Krišna išao u Gurukulu.
Where did Krishna go to
Gdje je
Gurukula?
Krišna otišao u Gurukulu?
We have a temple there now.
Imamo tamo sad hram.
You got 10 seconds to answer, and you go back to God and get a blessing.
Imate 10 sekundi da odgovorite i možete se vratiti natrag Bogu.
You got it, Ujjain.
Ujjain, on je Bogu, on se vraća natrag.
Okay, this will be one person.
Dobro, barem jedna osoba se vraća natrag Bogu.
The rest of us will stay.
Mi ostali ćemo ostati.
No? We'll talk about it.
Pričat ćemo malo.
We have a price.
Imamo cijenu za to.
So here I am offering
Evo
obeisances
ovdje
in
poštovanje Giriradžu.
with some of the devotees.
Evo nekih bakta.
And as right now we're getting to the entrance of the city of Govardhan again, and there's this kund called Yugalakund,
I tu je mjesto koje se zove Yugalkunda,
where Nanda Maharaj stayed on the way to Nandagram from Gokula.
Bio kada je išao od Nandagrama do Gokule.
So let's give a little history.
Da vam damo malo istorije.
So yesterday we asked the question where Krishna was born. So where was Radharani? Where did Radharani appear? Rava. Sometimes if you go to Vraj, you may have an argument with people. People say Varshana, right? We'll have that argument. Radharani appeared in Rava, and Krishna appeared in Gokula, and they were very close to each other. Then, where did they go?
Gdje su se preselili?
No, first, Vrindavan. It's where the city of Vrindavan is.
U Vrindavanu, a zatim u Varšanu i Nandagramu.
So there were two moves.
Znači, bile su dvije selidbe.
And it's interesting. I mean, one thing is interesting.
Mislim, jedna stvar je interesantna.
Don't tell anyone this.
Ali nemojte nikome ovo reći.
That basically by the time they moved to Varshana, Radharani was spending most of her time in Gava.
Radharani je provodila
Gava was the place of Abhimanyu and Jutila and Kutila.
Abhimanyu I Jatila I Kutile.
Jutila and Kutila were very attractive young girls.
Privlačne djevojke.
Jutila was a little older.
Jatila bila malo starija.
Kutila was Radharani's sister-in-law.
Je bila Radharanina zaoba.
And Krishna used to make fun of them.
Krishna ih je stalno ismijavao.
At least as far as how they looked.
Barem ismijavao njihov izgled.
And there's some descriptions of that.
Ima neki opis toga u Ambrozi predanosti.
Right at the border of the city of Govardhan, you run into this Panchatirtha-Kund, which contains the 5 holy rivers, Narmada, Gomati, Sarayu, Kanchi, and Vetri. And generally, ISKCON devotees can't go in there because it's controlled by people who worship the Shakti. They're like some sort of yogis. So we sneak in there sometimes and we get in trouble. And I think this is the last one. This is Suryakund. This is where Radharani and the gopis would go to worship Suryadeva. Suryadeva, you'll see this picture here.
Evo vidite ovdje njegovu sliku, to je božanstvo Surije u Suryakund. Je li ko tamo bio? Neki od vas su išli na Suryakund.
So what happens at Suryakund is when they go to worship the deity there, Krishna and Madhumangal make believe that they're two brahmanas.
Se pretvaraju da su dvojica brahmana.
And they perform the worship. And they chant, it's described by the Goswamis, Madhumangal chants mantras that no one has ever heard before. He just makes up the mantras as he's doing the puja. And Jatila is saying, I've never heard that mantra before. And he says, you ignorant old lady, you don't know anything. And then as for the reward, the minimum reward, he asks for ladus. And Krishna, of course, asked to embrace Radharani. So that happens in Suryakund. And then as we do at Govardhan Parikrama, we have classes there at Govardhan. Oh, there's the Govardhan Basi. Wow. He knows more about Govardhan. One time I discovered his secret hideout in Govardhan, but I won't tell you where it is. I bribed some of his associates with ladus. Anyway, so let's do the Radhakunda.
Sada idemo Radhakunda Parikrama.
So now we'll do Radhakunda. This probably will take at least an hour and a half to do
Ovo
Radhakunda.
otprilike traje sat i po.
You ready? Everybody
Divno,
ready?
mi smo spremni. Jeste svi spremni?
We have about 40 minutes.
40 minutes. 40
Znači
minutes.
43 minuta do
How
kraja.
long is that going to take to load? Slow computer.
Stop.
What? It stopped. Why don't you try loading it again?
It's loading.
It's loading, it's loading.
Okay, got it. Okay. We try to cover all the places in Radhakunda and Shamakunda, so this is a very elaborate parikrama.
Stoga ovo je vrlo opširan parikram.
And of course, Radhakunda
I naravno
and Shamakunda
Radhakunda i
are considered
Shamakunda se
at the
smatraju
tail, they're like, the head of the peacock, and they're the two eyes of the
i oni su
peacock.
dva oka pauna.
Of course, Govardhan Hill at this point
Brdo
is
Govardhan u ovom trenutku
underground.
je pod zemljom.
Shortly, let's say, after you leave
Nakon
the city of
što
Govardhan, Govardhan
napustite
starts
grad
to go
Govardhan,
underground.
Govardhan počne da ponire.
And so many intimate pastimes
Stoga
of
mnogo
Radha and
intimnih
Krishna
zabava Radha
occurred.
Krišne se
at
desilo
Radhakunda
na
and
Radhakundu
Shamakundu.
i Šamakundu.
This is pictures that there are many elaborate descriptions
koje su
of waterfalls, of
opširni
crystal
prikaz
bridges,
vodopada, kristalnih
of
mostova,
lotus flowers.
lotusovih cvjetova.
And also in Radhakunda and
I
Shamakunda, there's
također
the
na Radhakundu i
kunds
Šamakundu se
of
nalaze
the Sakas and the
kunde
Sakis, that is the coward
Sakija i
boys.
Saka, to su dječaci, pastiri
And the
i
gopi, principal
gopije,
gopis.
glavne gopije.
So I want to read something from
Želim da
Srila
vam
Prabhupada's
čitam nešto
Upadeshamrita,
od Srila Prabhupadove Upadeshamrite.
So it's very important to get in the right mood
Vrlo je
before
važno
we
ući u
enter.
pravo raspoloženje prije nego što uđemo.
No, don't worry about the sound. I don't use the sound like this one. The holy place,
Sveto mjesto,
known as
poznato kao
Mathura,
Mathura,
is spiritually superior to Vaikuntha, the transcendental world,
transcendentalnog svijeta,
because the Lord
zato što
appeared
se
there.
Gospodin pojavio tamo.
Superior to Mathura Puri
Superiornije od Mathura Purija
is the transcendental forest of Vrindavan,
transcendentalna šuma
because of
Vrindavana,
Krishna's rasa, lila,
Krišnih
pastimes.
rasa lila zabava.
And superior to the
I
forest of Vrindavan
superiornije od šume
is Govardhan Hill,
Vrindavana je brdo Govardhan.
for it was raised by the divine hand of Sri
Podigao ga
Krishna.
božanska ruka Šri Krišne i bilo je mjesto njegovih raznih ljubavnih zabava.
And above all, the super excellent Radhakunda, Sri Radhakunda stands as
Šri
supreme,
Radhakund stoji vrhovno,
for it is overflooded
zato što
with the
je
ambrosial
preplavljeno
nectarian prema of the Lord of
ambrozijskim
Gokula,
nektarskom
Sri
premom
Krishna.
gospodina Gokule Šri Krišna.
Where then is that
Gdje je
intelligent
onda ta
person
inteligentalna
who is unwilling to
osoba
serve
koja nije
this divine
voljna da
Radhakunda,
služi ovu
which is
božansku
situated
Radhakundu koja
at
se
the
nalazi
foot
u
of Govardhan
podnožju
Hill?
brda Govardhan.
So this is a very interesting hierarchy we did.
Ovo je
Everybody knows what a hierarchy
hijerarhija koju
is.
smo radili. Da li neko zna šta je hijerarhija? It's an order
It's an order in terms of
To je
important,
hijerarhija
more important,
u
much
smislu
more
koje je
important,
važniji,
most
još
important,
važniji,
supreme
najvažniji,
important.
vrhovno važniji.
Wow. So, this is the text 9 of Nectar of Instruction.
Ovo je deveti tekst Ambrozije predanosti.
So you have
Odnosno
Vaikuntha,
Ambrozije uputstava. I tu je Vaikuntha,
where the Lord is worshipped in awe and reverence.
Gospodina obožavaju sa čašću i poštovanjem.
And Mathura, there's
I
a
u
little more
Mathuri ima malo
closeness
više
there.
bliskosti.
Vrindavan,
U Vrindavanu,
great intimacy.
velika intimnost.
Govardhan Hill,
Brdo
even more
Govardhan, još
intimacy.
više
And
intimnosti.
Radhakunda,
I
the supreme
Radhakunda
transcendental place.
vrhovno transcendentalno mjesto.
And the description of these various realms is mentioned here in this chart.
I opis tih raznih duhovnih mjesta je ovdje na ovoj karti.
So, but the interesting thing is, Vaikuntha
Interesantna je stvar da
literally is a negative definition.
je bukvalno negativna definicija.
It means without anxiety.
Bez tjeskobe.
So, of course, it's paravyoma
Naravno,
is
to je
a positive definition. Paravyoma
je
means the spiritual world.
pozitivna definicija, to znači paravyoma da je duhovni svijet.
And there, all the residents appear with how many arms?
Se pojavljuju sa koliko ruku?
4 arms.
4 ruke.
But sometimes they
Ali
exhibit other
ponekada
forms too.
imaju i druge
Please the Lord.
oblike da bi pružili Gospodinu zadovoljstvo.
So that's called Sarupya Mukti.
Sarupya Mukti, što znači imate sličan oblik
So then we go to Mathura.
Idemo u Mathura.
And Krishna appeared there, but remember what we said about Krishna's appearance yesterday? Where did Krishna really appear?
Gdje se on zaista pojavio?
In Vrindavan.
U Vrindavanu.
And it was which Krishna who appeared in
Koji
Mathura?
Krishna se pojavio u Mathura?
Vasudeva Krishna. And his father's name in Mathura was
A
what?
njegov otac se zvao
Vasudeva. Vasudeva. Vasudeva.
Postoji Vasudev I Vasudev.
The pronunciation. So, Krishna actually appeared in Vrindavan, but we know that. We'll keep that secret.
Mi to znamo, ali to ćemo držati tajno. Nemojte nikom reći, inače se malo uznemiriti.
And then we go to Vrindavan, where we have 12 main forests, Krishna's pastimes, Krishna tends the cows, etc. Then we go to Govardhan Hill, which Krishna lifted, tends his cows there, and as many rendezvous with Radharani. Also the six Goswamis excavated the holy places in Vrindavan, Mathura, Govardhan, and Radhakunda. And then finally Radhakunda, which is the foot of Govardhan Hill. And advanced souls live there. And Govardhan was rediscovered by Lord Chaitanya. It's described when Krishna left the planet. I mean, not Govardhan. When Krishna left the planet, Radhakunda and Shamakunda more or less disappeared. So Lord Chaitanya was in this village called Fruska Gora-Serbia, named after the Vrishna Suradi. And he was asking for Radhakunda and Shamakunda. And they said they're just these two puddles in the paddy fields, you know, the rice fields. One was named Gauri-Kunda. And Lord Chaitanya recognized him immediately as Radhakunda and Shamakunda. And he jumped into them. And all the villagers were wondering, why is he bathing in this paddy field? So Lord Chaitanya rediscovered Radhakunda and Radhakunda and Shamakunda, as described here, love of Krishna overflows in the first love of Radharani. Most of the other Vaishnava Sampradayas, most of the followers of the other Sampradayas, don't recognize Radhakunda unless they have some connection or understanding, or they have been exposed to the Gaudiya understanding. Most of the followers of the other Sampradayas don't really recognize Radhakunda. Ne priznaju unless they have some exposure to our teachings. Bili izloženi, odnosno čuli naša učenja. So here's another statement. Among the gopis, Srimati Radharani is the most dear to Krishna. Her Kunda lake is profoundly dear to Lord Krishna as his most beloved of the gopis. Who then will not reside in Radhakunda, and in a spiritual body surcharged with ecstatic devotional feelings of Prakrit Bhava, that means spiritual emotions that are not part of this world. Render loving service to the divine couple Shri Radhagovinda, who perform their Ashta Lilu, their eternal eightfold daily pastimes. Indeed, those who execute devotional service in the banks of Radhakunda are the most fortunate people in the universe. Just read this. Of the many objects of favorite delight, and of all the lovable damsels of Rajabhumi Srimati Radharani, is certainly the most treasured object of Krishna's love. And in every respect, her divine kund is described by great sages as similarly dear to him. Undoubtedly, Radhakunda is rarely obtained, even by great devotees. Therefore, it is even more difficult for ordinary devotees to attain. If one simply bathes once within these holy waters,
u tim
One's
svetlim
pure love
vodama.
of Krishna is fully
Čista ljubav
aroused.
te osobe Krišne se u potpunosti javlja.
I'm not going to get into this chart.
Ja
It's a
neću
little more
sada
complex.
pričati o tome, ona je malo kompleksnija.
So this is a shot of
Ovo je
Giri from
slika
the air,
Girirađa iz zraka.
and of course that's the city of
Naravno, to je
Govardhan.
grad Govardhan.
This is the tail of
Ovo je
Govardhan,
rek Govardhana.
and Radhakunda Shamakunda
Radhakunda
right
i
there.
Shamakunda su ovdje.
Get a little closer. Here's another
Evo
aerial
još
shot,
jedne zračne slike.
and this is Radhakund
Ovo je Radhakund
and Shamakund.
i Shamakund.
And we'll explain later why
Jasno ćemo
Shamakund has an
kasnije zašto
unusual shade
Shamakund ima
to it.
neobičan oblik.
We'll be showing beautiful pictures of Radha
Pokazat
Krishna's
ćemo
pastimes.
prekrasne slike Radha Krishna zabava.
So we start
Počinjemo
by entering from Vrindavan and
ulaskom
turn
iz Vrindavana
onto the Radhakund
i
road,
ćemo se
and then we go
desno
backwards
na put
on the
Radhakunda
Govinda,
i
Govardhan,
idemo unazad
Vrindavan path.
na putu Govardhan
There's a
Parikrama.
reason for that,
I zato postoji razlog.
because each and every abode in Vraj
svako pojedinačno prebivalište
is
u
guarded
Vrađu
by the Dikpala, that is by Lord Shiva,
odnosno
a
gospodin
particular
Shiva,
manifestation of
posebna
Lord Shiva.
manifestacija gospodina Šive.
So in Radhakund it's Kundeshra Mahadev. Actually there's 7 Lord Shivas
Radhakund
in
se zove
Radhakund.
Kuleshvar
But the
Mahadev,
primary one is Kundeshra.
glavni se zove Kundeshvar.
But before we get to that
Ali
temple,
prije nego
there's
što
the
uđete u taj hram,
Radha Gokulananda
tu se
temple,
nalazi hram Radha
which
Gokulananda,
was, it's a replica of the Radha
je
Gokulananda
kopija
temple in
Radha
Vrindavan
Gokulananda
that
hrama
was
u
started by
Vrindavanu,
Vishwanath
kojeg je zasnovao
Chakravarti Thakur.
Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur.
And these are the deities of
I
Radha
ovo su božanstva
Gokulananda.
Radha Gokulanande.
Of course, these are sweets.
Ovo su slatkiši.
Be careful.
Budite pažljivi.
So Kundeshra Mahadev
Kundeshvar Mahadev
is the presiding
je
Dikpala
predsjedavajući
or protector of Radhakund.
Dikpala ili zaštitnik Radha.
So we take permission from him before we
Dobijamo
start our
dozvolu
Radhakund
od
parade.
njega prije nego što krenemo sa parikramom oko Radhakunda.
He's right on
On
the
je
path,
odmah
right next to Radhakund, right next to
Pored
the market.
Radhakunda, odmah
Yes.
pored tržnice.
He's decorated in different ways,
Ukrašen je na različite načine.
different shots of Kundeshra
Evo ovdje
Mahadev.
razne slike.
Kundeshra Mahadev ki jai. Let's see. So, all right, then we see Radhakund for the first time by the
Onda vidimo
marketplace.
prvi put Radhakunda pored tržnice.
And of course, we offer
I
our
naravno
dandavats to
odajemo
Radhakund.
dandavat Radhakundu.
And of course, I think most of you know the story
Većina vas zna priču
that once upon a
da
time, one of Kamsa's
jedan od
friends
Kamsinih prijatelja,
was named
koji se
Arishta.
zvao
Of
Arišta,
course, he was Arishtasura.
bio je naravno Arištasura.
He appeared in the form of a
Pojavio
bull
se u
with a
obliku
giant
bika,
hump.
ogromnog bika sa
And as
velikom
he
grbom.
walked on the
I
earth, the
dok
whole
je
earth
hodao zemljom,
trembled.
sva zemlja se tresla.
So,
I
Krishna, of
tako,
course,
Krišna naravno
killed him.
ubio ga.
And there's no problem, Krishna kills
Nema
demons.
problema, Krišna ubio demone.
Vritanaya Saranam, Vinashaya Chadushkritam. Of course, when Krishna does the killing business, he does it as Vasudeva.
On to ubija kao Vasudev Krišna.
So after Krishna killed
Nakon
this
što je Krišna
bull demon,
ubio tog demona bika,
he said to the gopis
rekao je
later on
gopijama
that day,
kasnije tog dana,
let's have
Hajdemo
dance,
plesati.
let's have some sort of relationship.
hajdemo da imamo neki odnos.
And the gopis
I
said, no,
gopi su
you
rekli, ne,
kill the
ti si
bull.
ubio bika.
A bull is a male cow.
Bik je muška krava.
And this is very
I
simple.
ovo je jako grešno.
They said the only way you can be
Rekli
free
su,
from this
jedini
great
način kako
offense
se
is by
možeš
bathing in all the holy
osloboditi velikog
places.
grijeha jeste da se okupaš u svim svetim mjestima.
So Krishna put his heel on the
Krišna
ground,
je
and he called for all the holy
petu
places. They
na
came,
tlo i pozvao je sva
And they
sveta
filled
mjesta
his
i oni su
kund.
došli i ispunili su njegovu
and he
kundu
went bathing.
i otišao da se okupa.
And Krishna said to the gopis,
Krišna je
you
rekao
can also
gopijama,
bathe
hoćete li i vi da se okupate
in my kund if
u
you
mojoj
like.
kundi, ako
And the
želite.
gopis said that your
Gopi su
kund
rekle,
is contaminated
tvoja kunda je
because
zagađena,
you bathed in it.
zato što se ti okupao u njoj.
And you were guilty for
Ti si
killing the
kriv
bull.
što si ubio bika.
So we'll make our own
I mi
kund.
ćemo napraviti svoju vlastitu kundu.
So they proceeded to
I
dig
nastavili
out
su da
a hole, and then
kopaju.
Krishna said,
I
they were
Krišna
using
je
their jewelry and
koristili
everything to
su
dig
svoj
the hole in
nakit
the
da
ground.
kopaju u tu rupu u tlu.
And Krishna said,
I
how are you
Krishna
going to
je
find
rekao,
water
kako
to
ćete
fill
pronaći
this kund?
vodu, da napunite kundu.
And they said, no problem, we'll take the water from the Manasaganga.
Uzet ćemo vodu iz Manasagange.
And they tried, they
I
weren't able to
pokušali su, ali nisu nikako mogli da napune.
And then finally Krishna
Konačno Krishna
called for all the holy places, personification of holy places, and the holy places begged the gopis or begged Srimati Radharani that they could fill her kund by overflowing from Shankund, who was Krishna's kund.
Tako što su preplavile sve iz Šamakunde, to je bila Krishna kunde. Krishna je rekao, od ovog dana pa nadalje,
I will bathe in your
ja ću se
kund every
kupati
day,
u tvojoj kundi svaki dan, Srimati Radharani. A Srimati Radharani je rekao, od ovog dana, ja ću se kupati u tvojoj kundi.
So it's very interesting. I mean, just a little bit of a political statement, philosophical statement.
Filozofske izjave.
That sometimes people pay more attention to Radhakunda than Shamakund.
Pažnje Radhakundu nego Šamakundu.
But guess which kund the gopis bathe?
U kojoj sekundi gopije kupaju? U Šamakundu.
And we'll tell a very interesting story as we go through this parikrama about a tree that resides on the banks of Shamakund, a talking tree,
drvo koje govori.
talking pilu tree. But you have to be perfectly Krishna conscious to talk to it.
Savršeno svjesni Krishna da bi vi pričali
And this
s njim.
pilu tree worship witnessed Radha and Krishna's pastimes 5,000 years ago.
Zabava Radha Krishna
And this pilu tree had actually
to pipalo drvo je zapravo govorilo
to Vishwanath Chakravarti.
Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakuru.
We'll get to that.
Ali doći će se od toga.
There's a picture of Radhakunda.
Evo slike Radhakunde.
Devotees taking a little snan, a little water on their heads.
Uzimaju malo snana, odnosno malo se prskaju po glavi sa vodom.
There's a way to approach Radhakunda.
Postoji način kako se prilazi Radhakundu.
Like when the devotees from ISKCON first went to Radhakunda,
su prvi put otišli u Radhakund.
they treated it more or less like
Obhodili su se prema njemu manje više kao velikom bazenu.
and then they started to have
počeli da
water fights in it.
Se vodene borbe, znate kad se ljudi prskaju. Šla Prabhupada je postao jako znemiren.
He said it's like kicking Radharani.
Da je to kao šutanje Radharani.
Because in one sense the Radhakunda
zato što na jedan način Radhakund je Srimati Radharani.
Like this. And is dear to Krishna, Srimati Radharani is.
Jedan koji je drago Krishna kao i Srimati Radharani.
So when the devotees go to Radhakund, at least when I go to Radhakund,
kad ja idem na Radhakund
and I take some bath in it,
i okupam se u
I'm very respectful. I offer
imam veliko
obeisances and I
poštovanje,
beg
odam
for
poštovanje
forgiveness.
i preklinjem za oprost.
Why do I beg for forgiveness?
Zašto
Because
preklinjem za
when you
oprost?
take
Zato što
snan,
kada se
full snan, the
kupate
feet
u
go in.
potpunosti ulaze stopala.
And in Vedic culture,
I u vedskoj kulturi
the feet are considered
stopala se
impure.
smatraju nečistim.
We in the West don't
Mi
think
na
like that.
zapadu tako ne
You
mislimo.
know, we stick our feet on
Mi
anything.
svoja stopala stavljamo bilo gdje.
Prabhupada would even get upset when people would move furniture with
vidio kada bi ljudi nogom gurali namještaj.
what to speak or touch a
Što
holy
tek reći
place.
da dotaknemo stopalima sveto mjesto.
We beg for forgiveness, we go in the right attitude.
Ulazimo s pravim stavom
Prabhupada
i
said,
Prabhupada
if
je
you don't have the right
rekao, ako
attitude
nemate
when you
pravi
go to
stav kada
Radhakund,
idete na Radhakund,
then it will become like
onda ćete
Narakakund.
postati kao Narakakund.
In other words, you'll go to
Drugim
heaven.
riječima, vi ćete otići u pakao.
And I've seen
I vidio sam
devotees, sometimes they try to reside there
ponekad
without the
tamo
proper
žive bez
consciousness.
prave svjesnosti.
And ultimately,
I na posljedku,
many of them give up their Krishna
mnogi
consciousness.
od njih odustanu od svjesnosti Krišne.
I had one friend who
Imao sam
was
jednog prijatelja koji
from
je
Finland,
bio iz Finske.
not a disciple, but a
Nije
friend.
bio moj učenik, već
And he was
prijatelj.
very expert
I on
in
je bio
Sanskrit.
veoma veliki stručnjak u sanskritu.
So he thought he knew
I on
more
je
than
mislio da
Prabhupada,
zna
so he
više
went to
od
reside in
Prabhupada. Pa
Radhakund.
otišao da živi na Radhakund.
This happens.
To se dešava.
There are some residents of
Ima nekih
Radhakund who try
stanovnika
to
Radhakunda koji
lure
pokušaju da vas namame.
ISKCON devotees away.
Namame iskonove bakte dalje od
They
iskona.
say
I
that
oni kažu,
the reason you have not
razlog
realized
zašto
that you're
nisi
a gopi
shvatio da si gopija
is that you
je
haven't
taj što
accepted a gopi
nisi
guru.
prihvatio gopi gurua.
Rasika guru.
Znate, Rasika gurua.
And come to Radhakund and reside
Dođi
with me.
na Radhakundu i živi sa mnom.
So we saw that especially
Vidjeli smo to
in the
posebno
Sanskrit school that used to be there.
u školi sanskrita koja je tamo bila prije.
Sanskrit school. Many students
Gopi
were lost.
Pranadana, mnogi
They would
učenici
go there And there were some expert Sanskrit people there, and they would lure the devotees away.
Oni su namamljivali bakte da napuste islam.
So what I saw with my friend, he was very expert in Sanskrit.
Sa mojim prijateljem, on je bio veliki stručnjak.
He thought he knew more than Prabhupada, and then he heard some offenses there,
tamo neke uvrede,
where they criticized even Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati.
I Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakura.
So he thought, oh, I'm so intelligent. And then he started to study under Babaji.
Onda on počeo da studira sve pod vodstvom Babadžija.
And then he thought, oh, I'm more intelligent than Babaji.
Inteligentniji od Babadžija.
And I know more than him. So
I znam više od njih.
false pride is like that.
Lažni ponos je takav.
It grows.
Raste.
It just doesn't stay
Ne
stable.
ostaje stabilan.
So then he thought, oh, I'm
On
such
je
a great
mislio, ja sam
devotee.
tako veliki bakta.
Then eventually he became a
Na
Buddhist.
posljedku je postao budista.
And then after being a
I onda
Buddhist,
nakon što je postao budista,
he just became an ordinary
postao je obični
meat now.
karmi. Sada jede meso.
So that's from offenses
To je
at
zbog
Radhakunda.
uvreda na
It's
Radhakundu.
like you get more benefit
Isto
from
kao što
performing devotional
dobivate
service in
više
Vrindavan and Radhakunda. There's more
benefita
reaction there, so one
od
has to
predanog
be very
služenja na
careful.
Radhakundu, onda ima više i reakcija, stoga trebamo biti jako pažljivi.
It's like Prabhupada said, the sun
Što
can
je Prabhupada
purify.
rekao, sunce može
sun could also
pročistiti
burn.
i sunce također može spaliti.
He said that in reference to the
I
Guru
rekao
and
je to
also
u
the
odnosu
deities,
na
but
Guru
I'm
i
saying that
također
in reference
božanstva,
to the
ali ja
holy
to sada
places.
govorim u odnosu na sveto mjesto.
So one has to be very
Stoga
careful.
osoba mora biti jako pažljiva.
Even Lord Chaitanya
Čak i
Mahaprabhu
gospodin Chaitanya Mahaprabhu
advised one of his intimate associates,
je
Jagadananda
njegov
Pandit,
od intimnih učenika Jagadananda Pandit,
who sometimes had a tendency
koji nekada imao
to
tendenciju
look for little
da
mistakes or faults.
traži male greškice.
He said, just stay there for a short time,
Rekao mu je, ostani tamo kratko,
because you will not
jer
understand the
ti
residents
nećeš
of Vrindavan.
shvatiti stanovnike Vrindavana.
They're on a different platform.
Oni su na drugom nivou.
And there's even one, it's a funny story that Jagadananda Pandit was with
Smiješna je
Sanatana
to priča
Goswami one
kada je
time in
Jagadananda
Vrindavan.
Pandit bio sa Sanatana Goswamijom jednom u Vrindavanu.
And Sanatana Goswami had
Sanatana
gotten
Goswami je
a red
dobio
cloth from
crveni
a Mayavadi
tkaninu
sannyasi
od
named
Mayavadi sannyasija
Saraswati.
koji se zvao
And he was wearing this red cloth on his
nekako
head.
i on je nosio taj crvenu tkaninu na glavi.
And Jagadananda
I
Pandit asked him,
Jagadananda Pandit ga je upitao,
where you got the red cloth? He thought
odakle
it
ti
was from
crvena
Lord
tkanina?
Chaitanya.
Mislio da ga je dobio od gospodina Chaitanya.
And Sanatana
I
Goswami said,
Sanatana
oh,
Goswami
Mukunda
je
Saraswati
govorio,
gave it to me.
Mukunda Saraswati mi je
And
dao.
Jagadananda
I
Pandit
Jagadananda Pandit
took his pots and pans,
je uzeo svoje
you know, like ladies take rolling pins sometimes.
lonce, znate kao što žene
So,
uzmu nekad u
the
kagiju.
pots and pans
On je
got
uzeo
ready to hit.
tave i lonce i htio je da udari Sanatana
And of
Goswami.
course, Sanatana Goswami,
I Sanatana Goswami
he said, oh, I just
je
did
rekao,
this because I
ja sam
wanted
to
to see your
uradio
love
zato što
for
sam
Lord
želio da
Chaitanya.
vidim tvoju ljubav prema gospodinu Chaitanya.
So even some of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's
Čak
intimate servants
neki od
and
intimnih
associates
slugu gospodina
were
Chaitanya
advised
i
not to
pratilaca
spend
su bili savjetovani
more than a
da ne
week or so
provode
in
ni
Vrindavan.
više od
So we have to
7
be
dana
very
na
cautious.
Radhakundu. Stoga mi trebamo biti veoma pažljivi.
Beautiful picture of Radha and Krishna.
Prekrasna slika Radha Krišne.
And sometimes during
Ponekad
the rainy season, the
u kišnoj
sangam
sezoni
is immersed, it goes underwater,
može se vidjeti kako
and
sunce ide pod
Radhakund and
vodom.
Shyamakund flow together.
Radhakund i Shyamakund plutaju zajedno.
Different shots of Radhakund.
Ovo su različite slike Radhakunda.
So then as we leave the
Onda, kako
marketplace,
napuštamo
at the edge of the
tržnicu,
marketplace,
na kraju
there's
tržnice
a replica of the swing
kopija ljuljačke,
where Radha and Krishna would swing.
gdje bi se Radha Krišna ljuljali.
Of course, this is not the original swing, it's
Ovo
a
nije
concrete
prava
swing.
ljuljačka, ovo je od betona,
Arch. But there's
betonski
an
luk,
interesting pastime
ali
that occurred
postoji
here.
interesantna zabava koja se desila tu.
Rupa and Sanatana Goswami were
I
sitting
Sanatana
together
Goswami su zajedno sjedili
near this spot.
mjesta.
And Sanatana Goswami was
I
like
Sanatana
the
Goswami
Siksha Guru of
je
Rupa
bio
Goswami.
Shiksha Guru Rupa Goswami.
And Sanatana Goswami said to Rupa Goswami, I'd like to hear some nice verse that you composed.
Neke fine stihove.
So Rupa Goswami recited a verse
Rupa Goswami je citirao
in which Radharani's hair, the back of the hair, the
kosa Radharani
whatever it is, the fall, whatever it is in the back of the hair, was compared to like a
je
serpent.
uspoređena sa zmijom.
You know how the ladies, they
Znate kako
tie
da
their hair, not like
svežu kosu, ne ovako kao
They
svi,
tie their hair back.
nego pozadi spletu kosu,
Serpent hair.
onako kao zmija.
So remember,
Odnosno, to je pletenica.
braid.
It's a braid.
Braid.
Da, to je pletenica.
What?
Pletenica.
Latenisa. So they braid their hair. So
Kako spletu kosu,
her hair went all the way down to the back of the neck,
kosa je išla skroz do stražnice,
to the waist. And
do struka.
so Rupa Goswami
I
was
Rupa
comparing it
Goswami
to a
je
snake.
upoređivao to sa zmijom.
And Sanatana Goswami
I
said,
Sanatana
no,
Goswami je rekao ne,
this is not a good
ovo
metaphor.
nije dobra metafora.
And Rupa Goswami said,
I
all right, think
Rupa
of a
Goswami je
better
rekao, u redu,
metaphor.
smisli ti bolju metaforu.
So Sanatana Goswami
I
couldn't think, he said,
Sanatana
I'll come
Goswami
back
nije mogao
later.
smisliti, rekao, ja ću se vratiti kasnije.
So Sanatana
I
Goswami was
Sanatana
right
Goswami je
close to where the
bio
swing
u
is.
blizini mjesta gdje se nalazi
And he
ljuljačka.
saw a beautiful swing there, and there were young girls on the
I tu
swing.
su bile mlade djevojčice na ljuljački.
And on one of the young girls' back, he thought he saw a serpent or a snake crawling up her hair.
Zmiju kako se gmiže uz njenu kosu.
And he started to run. He said, Lali, that's
Lali,
little girl.
znate, znači
There's
djevojčice.
a snake crawling on your back.
Zmija ti gmiže po
And the young
vratu
girls just laughed at
i
him.
djevojčice su se samo smijale.
And then he could
I onda je
understand
mogao shvatiti
the metaphor that Rupa Goswami was using was an
metaforu koju je
appropriate metaphor.
Rupa Goswami koristio i shvatio je da je to bila prikladna metafora.
And so he went back to Rupa
I
Goswami
vratio se
and
Rupa
said,
Goswami i rekao,
yes, you were
da,
right.
bio si u pravu.
You can use that metaphor.
Možeš iskoristiti tu metaforu.
Here's the
I
swing
evo,
of Radha Krishna.
tu je ljuljačka Rada Krišne.
This, of course, is the way
Ovo naravno
Radhakunda looked
je
5,000 years ago. Actually,
onako kako je izgledao Radhakund prije 5000 godina.
I collected many swing pictures to show.
Prikupio sam dosta slika sa ljuljačkom da
This is
vam
actually my
pokažem.
favorite.
Ovo je zapravo moja najdraža.
So when Raghunath Das Goswami was excavating Radhakund,
iskopavao Radhakund.
well, let's tell the story of the
Da
excavation.
kažemo prvu priču o iskopavanju.
So Raghunath Das Goswami had some idea
je imao neku ideju
that
da
he should excavate
treba iskopati
the holy dham, or excavate
sveto
Radhakund.
mjesto i iskopati Radhakund.
But then he thought, well, maybe it's not
Onda je
appropriate.
pomislio,
Too
možda
many
nije
people will
prikladno,
come
previše
here.
ljudi
Maybe
će
I
doći
shouldn't
tu,
do it. So
možda
he
ne
was
treba to uraditi.
he was having
Bio je
some doubt whether he should do it.
dilemi da li da to uradi ili ne.
So then,
I onda,
the next day,
sljedećeg dana,
this very rich gentleman came.
veoma bogat gospodin
This gentleman
došao
had been
i
in
taj
Badarik
gospodin
ashram,
je bio u Badarik ashramu.
and Krishna had actually spoken to him
Krishna mu se zapravo obratio
and told
i
him
rekao mu
to go
da
see Raghunath Das
ode i
Goswami at
vidi
Radhakund
Raghunath Das Goswami na Radhakundu
and pay for the excavation.
plati
of the
iskopavanje kundi.
So we came to Raghunath Das Goswami and said, Krishna
Došao
told
je
me,
Raghunath Das
Krishna sent
Goswami i
me
rekao,
here.
Krishna
So
me
Raghunath
poslao
Das
ovdje i rekao mi
Goswami
da
understood that it was Krishna's plan to have
trebamo to
Radhakunda and
iskopati. Stoga je
Shyamakunda
Raghunath Das Goswami shvatio da je Krishnin plan da se iskopa Radhakund i Shyamakund.
15 more minutes. Okay, I'm going to show the film. But let's go a little further. So then, Raghunath Das
Onda
Goswami
Raghunath Das Goswami
excavated or
je
supervised
iskopao
the
ili
excavation
nadgledao
of the Kunda.
iskopavanje kundi.
And
I
as he was supervising the
kako je
excavation,
posmatrao, nadgledao
They dug up these
iskopavanje,
deities, these-
iskopali su ta
these are the
božanstva.
original
Ovo
deities
su
of the Kunda.
originalna božanstva kunde.
what's the name of the deities? Anyway, there's a name and I forget right now the deity.
Imaju ime, ali
These are the
zaboravili
deities
su
he
njihovo ime,
excavated.
to su božanstva koja su iskopali.
And
I
walking backwards a little bit on the
ako
brickwork
idemo malo
path,
unatrag na putu
we
Parikrama,
come to the temple
dođemo do
that was
hrama
started by Srila Bhakti
koji je
Siddhanta
zasnovao
Saraswati
Bhakti
Thakur, which
Siddhanta
is called
Saraswati Thakur,
Radhakunda Bihari.
zove se Radhakunda Bihari.
And these are the deities
I
of
to su
Radhakunda
božanstva
Bihari.
Radhakunda Bihari.
And this temple, they treat ISKCON devotees very, very
U tom
nicely.
hramu
Very respectful.
jako lijepo se
There's-
odnose prema iskrenom
there's nice
bakama sa
sannyasis.
puno poštovanja. Ima finih sanjasa u tom hramu.
And we're telling some of the pastimes here.
Evo ovdje malo pričamo o zabave, okupljenim baktama.
And we already told the pearl pastimes.
Već smo pričali priču
Hari-Kund.
o zabavama s biserima, to je Hari-Kunda.
This is where Krishna asked the gopis for pearls for his
Ovdje je
cows.
Krishna tražio od gopija bisere za svoje krave.
There we are telling the story. And here's another picture of the pearl pastimes.
I evo još jedne slike o zabavama sa biserima.
So as I mentioned before, even the cows, the
Rekao sam
monkeys,
prije da su čak
all the animals
krave
of
i majmuni,
Vrindavan had these beautiful
svi
pearls that
životinje
Krishna had
Vrindavana
grown.
su imali prekrasne bisere koje Krishna uzgojio u svom bisernom vrtu.
And ultimately,
I sve na posljedku Krishna je gopijama dao
their own pearls in a
njihove
great
vlastite
box
gopije
with names on it.
u kutijama gdje su bilo ugravirana njihova imena.
Then we take permission from Rameshwara Mahadev,
dozvolu od Rameshwara
who is considered
Mahadeva,
the western
koji se
protector of the
smatra
Radhakunda.
zapadnim zaštitnikom područja Radhakunda.
And then we enter the Parikrama
I onda
path
idemo na put Parikrama
and go to the temple of Radhakunda,
u hram
which is
Radhakante.
Vrkeshwar Pandit's temple. Vrkeshwar Pandit was
To je
an
hram
associate of Chaitanya
Vrkeshwara Pandita, on je
Mahaprabhu,
bio pratilac Chaitanya
who was
Mahaprabhu,
known for
koji je
his
poznat
dancing.
po svom plesanju.
He could dance in
Mogao je
kirtan
plesati
for
u kirtanu
72 hours without stop.
72 sata bez prestanka.
Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu
Gospodin
said,
Chaitanya Mahaprabhu je rekao,
"You were like one of my
ti si
wings,
kao jedan od mojih
and if
krila.
I had two devotees
Kad
like
bih
you, I
imao
could fly in the air."
dvojicu bakta, kao što si ti mogao
So he
letjeti u
established this
zraku.
temple,
I on je zasnovao ovaj hram,
Radhakund temple.
Radhakanta
Radhakund.
hram na Radhakundu.
Some of the pictures on the wall. of the
Ovo su
temple.
neke
Here are the
od
deities.
slika na
And that's,
zidu hrama,
Murti
gdje su božanstva i ovo je
of
Murti
Krishna
Vakreshvara Pandita.
And in the deities, there's Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Lalita
Gospodin
Devi,
Chaitanya Mahaprabhu,
and
Lalita Devi
Radhakanta.
i Radha
That's
Radhakanta.
Lord Chaitanya,
Ovo je naravno
Lalita,
Gospodin Goranga, Lalita
Radhakanta.
i Radha Radhakanta.
I think right now I wanted to show this helicopter.
Sada želim da pokažem
So
taj
when we
snimak.
go over there, this is, we want to end. We're going to continue tomorrow
Nastavit ćemo sutra
with the rest of the Radhakunda
sa
Parikrama.
ostatkom Parikrama
But I wanted to show you
ali
our
želim sam da vam
helicopter
pokažem
ride. Not
naš
that one. Yeah, that,
let
the GoPro
helikopterom.
one. GoPro. Yeah, that one. Will it play? This is the helicopter ride over Govardhan.
Ovo je let helikopterom iznad Govardhana.
There I am.
Evo mene.
Govardhan, helicopter. Mayapur is operating. He's not in it. It's a little helicopter. We have plans to do the whole of Raj from the air.
Cijeli Vrač iz zraka.
Yeah, well, actually, yesterday I was talking to Jai Pataka Maharaj about this. And he said, all right, now you also have to
I on
do
je rekao sada
Navadvip
moraš
Mandal
isto
from the air
raditi
too. So,
Navadvip Mandal.
of course, he also blessed me with 108 years of life, so how
Sa
time.
108 godina života, tako da ću morati da ovo da uradim.
See,
That's a toy helicopter.
no, it's actually it's not just a toy. Go to the middle. You got it's kind of long. Go to the middle. Yeah, that's good. So we had that of course Govardhan from
Ovo
the
je
air.
Govardhan iz zraka.
This is it's called what's called a drone. Anyone heard of a drone?
Ovo se zove bespilotna
It's
letjelica.
what the U.S. Army
To
uses in
američka vojska
Afghanistan.
koristi u Afganistanu.
It's called no, but it's a drone or a UAV.
Is there a human being inside?
No, we have a little mouse. No, there's no human being inside.
Ljudsko biće ne upravlja unutra.
It's a radio-controlled
To je
helicopter.
helikopter kojim se upravlja radio sa daljinskim upravljačem.
And we're able to take shots of different places and Govardhan and Raj with it. And we're going to, within the next few years, we're going to complete all of Raj. Yeah, go ahead. This, of course, is Govardhan from the
Ovo je
air.
Govardhan iz zraka.
See, the birds are lower than
Vidite
the
da su ptice niže od
Go
helikoptera.
further. And then we're going to go over Govardhan Hill to the next side, to the other side.
Zatim ćemo preći na drugu stranu Govardhana.
Right, let it roll. This is perfect. And so you see
Vidite
the temple of Madhavendra Puri,
Madhavendra Purija,
is there in the distance.
taj veliki hram u daljini.
And now we're getting a view that very few devotees get at Govardhan Hill.
Dobivamo pogled koji je vrlo malo bhakta
And then you
vidjelo.
see the other side,
I vidite s
the
druge strane,
Jatipur is right there.
Jatipur je tu,
And then the field,
i zatim polje,
of course this is the cricket field right
ovo je
before
naravno polje za kriket sada,
What?
Filled with many monkeys.
Filled with many monkeys, yeah.
sa puno majmuna.
So you're getting a shot on the other side of
Dobivate snimak druge strane Govardhana.
very unusual shot from the top. Because
Vrlo
generally,
neobična
as
snimka
Gaudiya
sa
Vaishnavas, we do not
Općenito
climb
kao
Govardhan for any
Gaudiya
reason.
Vaishnave mi se ne penjemo na Govardhan.
It's about a 20-minute film. No, further. Okay, just let go. And of course, this was very
I
entertaining
naravno ovo je bilo veoma
for the
zabavno
residents
za
of
stanovnike Govardhana.
The children really loved this.
Djeci se to zaista svidjelo.
So I was thinking how Krishna can practically engage anything in his service, because I have this one disciple who has played video games from the time he was born practically. He was born with a joystick in his hand. You know, video game controller in his hand. And I was thinking, how is this Krishna conscious?
Kako je to svjesno
But
Krishna?
then I understood that Krishna was preparing him to control a helicopter. Because I tried to control it and I crashed.
Ja sam pokušao i helikopter se srušio.
Because I've never played video
Jer ja
games.
nisam nikad igrao video igrice.
See the children enjoying
Vidite
very
kako
much.
djeca uživaju veoma.
Okay. A few more seconds of the video, and then we'll show. There, one other video after this. Note from our sponsor, you have to end. Get out of here. It's the hook. Okay, and there's one more video I wanted to show. It's about Radhakunda.
Ima još jedan video koji želim da vam pokažemo Radhakundu.
This is a video about the
Ovo je
cleaning of
video
Radhakunda.
o čišćenju Radhakunda.
When they drained
Kada su
Radhakunda,
isisali svu vodu iz Radhakunda.
you go ahead. The video is quite long, so you go ahead. A little bit more. I want to show the devotees in ecstasy. Putting That's good. So they form what's called a brigade line. Brigade line means like passing a bucket brigade.
Dodaju kante.
So every few years they clean. You see there's many Western devotees
Čiste
participating in
Radhakundu.
this.
Vidite da ima puno zapadnjačkih bakta kako učestvuju u čišćenju.
And the mud from Radhakunda is
I
sacred.
blato iz Radhakunda je sveto.
What?
Was it known for export?
Export? What? Mud?
Yeah. They sell it. You can buy it as tilak.
Da, prodaju to blato, možete kupiti kao tilak.
Go a little further on it. That's nice. What's the name of the kunda? Kanchika. What's that?
How does it feel?
Oh, it has a spring. It's spring fed. It runs a spring from the ground. That's how it fills up. They had to continue while they were
Kunda se
draining.
puni sa izvorom koji se tu pojavljuje.
While they were draining Radhakunda, they had to continually keep pumping it out because the spring
Kad
keeps
su
filling
stavali
it up.
vodu iz Radhakunda, morali su nastaviti da
See how much
to
fun
rade,
they're
zato što
having?
taj izvor stalno puni kundu sa novom vodom. Vidite kako se zabavljaju.
Transcendental emotions.
Ovo su transcendentalne emocije.
Bhavas.
Glave.
Yes. We have a Chari Bhava. The uncontrollable, intermittent, ecstatic emotions.
Nekontrolirane, intimne, zanosne emocije.
That's it. All right, thank you very much. Tomorrow we'll continue at 10:30 in the morning.
U 10:30 ujutro.
10:30 we'll start.
U 10:30 sutra nastavljamo. Po novom
10:30 to 11:30.
Od 10:30 do 11:30 sutra.
All right, thank you very much. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, Radhakunda ki jai, Srila ki jai, Giri Govardhan ki jai, Guru Premananda, Hari Hari Bol.
All glories to His Holiness, Bir Krishna Dasa Goswami ki jai.